Hey everybody, I am Danny Otto. Welcome into another episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we start the show, seem to be wearing the wrong shirt. That's much better. Now, we are going to be talking about episode 3 of the Loki series. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you may want to pause this, go check that out, and then come back and enjoy the show. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
Break down all the action from episode 3 of Loki. It's producer Paul.
Hey, what is going on, population? I am excited to talk about episode 3 of Loki.
I am too. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into the summary. We start out the episode basically kind of a flashback, more so inside the head of the captured Minuteman. We have Lady Loki, aka Sylvie, inside her head and trying to get information, and basically we kind of see how she does it, how she does the enchantments, and how she gets information and how she controls people's minds, basically. So we're getting firsthand experience of seeing this. So we see her get her answers, and then we kind of jump right back into right where the episode 2 left off, and them coming out of the doorway that they jumped into at the end of episode 2. And we're surprised back at the TVA, which is exactly what we said that they were kind of going to go to, while all of the TVA employees were scrambling to fix the sacred timeline where all the bombs went. And now, hopefully, a skeleton crew is there, and that's I'm assuming what Sylvie's hoping for also. And we see her. Actually, one thing I wanted to note: what we see is she tries to use her powers and realizes she can't really quick. So she's really confused. So I'm taking this as this is the first time she's ever been to the TVA. In all of the planning that she's done, she hasn't found out that she can't use her powers while she's at the TVA. It's easily enough for her to take out some of the TVA guards and disintegrate some of them too. I don't know why she differentiated between disintegrating some and just knocking some out. I don't know. Maybe she just was like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm not sure. Anyway, we have
meeny, miny, dead.
Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, reset. But so then we have our Loki variant pop out of the doorway also, and the first thing he does is realize, oh shit, I can get my daggers. And so we have that scene where he looks at the locker and is like, this is what I'm doing. So then we have him kind of just following the trail of carnage, and he finally meets up with her.
I do want to point out, Loki, for all of his like cool tricks and everything, does he really only ever learn to do like the one dagger like flip and catch thing? Because we've seen him do that a couple times now, and I'm like, look, it was like kind of cool the first time, like not like special or anything, but like it was like, well, you needed a little move and everything. Is that the only trick he knows though?
Dude, I think he's doing the dice thing too much. That's really all he's got.
It's like his signature move. Anyway, so we'll dub it the TVA judge.
Can we call her Judge Judy?
We can. We'll call her TVA Judge Judy. Just so we can differentiate between Earth Judge Judy and TVA Judge Judy. Good? Satisfied?
Fair.
Okay. Anyway, so she basically finds both of them, and Loki's like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here. Grabs the device and opens up another doorway. He has no idea where they're going. Gets zapped to a different planet, which in the previews we actually thought was going to be Vormir. Because I remember there being a lot of rumors that we were potentially going to go to Vormir.
So I believe it's Lamentis that they end up going to. Lamentis 1. Good call. So this is one of the planets that we know there is apocalyptic event happening, and what we find out pretty quickly from not our Loki is that this is like the worst apocalypse they could have gone to, because absolutely nobody gets out because there's a moon breaking apart and it's about to fall and destroy the entire planet. And they are fighting over the little gadget to switch where they're at. So as they're fighting, it gets damaged and they realize, oh no, we need to work together. But this is an interesting dynamic because it's Loki and a Loki variant who calls herself Sylvie. We basically have two Lokis struggling to work together because both of them know if there's one person you can't trust, it's Loki. So they're looking for this power source to be able to get off of this planet. Otherwise, they're both going to die. And they decide, okay, well, there is one Titanic-esque raft that is full of rich people that is going to try and, save some people from this dying civilization. We're going to steal the power source because, again, we're in a apocalyptic event, which means anything that they do really doesn't matter. So they hustle their way onto the train. They end up having a nice little chat about their past, how they grew up differently, what love means to them, which was a very interesting segue. We get to see Loki partying and singing, which was honestly kind of an entertaining little aside. And then before you know it, that our Loki is a little too brash and gets them caught as having snuck onto this Titanic-esque train, whatever. And they are thrown from the train. And in the process of being thrown from the train, their little device breaks. And oh no, that is literally the only way to stop them from dying. So at that point, they've struggled a lot that episode to bond and like fully trust each other. It's like slowly creeping along, but that given a chance, one would immediately turn on the other. At that point, though, they literally have nobody else to turn to but each other. And they say, okay, the only other thing we can do here, there's one more raft that is going to be taken off that is not, historically speaking, supposed to make it off this planet. What if we jump on and we change history? And in this end sequence, we see them make a run for it and try to sneak their way onto this other vessel. And shocker of shockers, at the end of this episode, they completely fail. And we see the moon break apart and we see it destroy this giant raft. And everybody's about to die, and Loki is just standing there like, shit. Sylvie is just kind of done with it and walks away. And that is where we are left at the end of episode 3 of Loki. How are they going to make it off the planet? What really happens from here? How is the TVA going to get back involved? We don't know until next week.
One thing that you kind of glossed over that I really like is when Loki is partying and everything, and Sylvie kind of complains about that. He goes, I don't get drunk, I get full, and I'm very full. It was a very it felt like a very Bob's Burgers, Linda response.
Mommy doesn't get drunk, she just has fun. Crackers, where's the crackers? You coming to bed with me, come on.
That was one of my favorite lines from this particular episode. was just that I almost felt like Loki almost took on, in their relationship, he almost took on like a Thor role. Where he was kind of like the one that was kind of more lighthearted and lively and drinking, and even when he threw his glass down and said another, that's right out of Thor 1.
Just drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
There was a point in time where him and Thor were very close, and I imagine they were probably pretty fun to party with.
Yeah, probably. All right, so this brings us to our big takeaways. First one I had was, we don't know who Sylvie really is yet. She could be a Loki variant, just Lady Loki. The Loki variants don't have to look the same. They can all be completely different. But also, there's been a lot of rumors, videos, shout out to Screen Rant, Everything Always, all of these sources that you can consume, theories and stuff like that, that Sylvie's actually Enchantress, which is a Marvel comic book character and totally would make sense. And then there's another theory that they basically combined Lady Loki and Enchantress and kind of made Sylvie the best of both of those. And so we're never really going to 100% know who she is. So that was kind of my big takeaway is I'm not sure who she is yet. And I'm really excited to kind of find out who she's going to be and who she really is moving forward.
One of my takeaways is that we had this interesting scene on the train middle of the episode where it's very casually revealed that both Loki and Sylvie are both bisexual versions of Loki, which shouldn't be too much of a challenge for most people to wrap their head around given Norse mythology. It fits along with kind of the character and any backstory that you were really going to look into the character. The fact that he's gender fluid was pointed out by the internet a couple weeks ago. What was really interesting to me about the scene, though, was how deeply they went into the concept of love. We have Sylvie commenting about how there is some post person somewhere that over time has been her kind of person to go back to. And we get to hear both Sylvie and Loki talk about their thoughts on what love truly is. And we get to hear that Loki believes that love is like an imaginary dagger, as they put it in the episode, because it's a weapon to him that can either be wielded at close range or at far range. Overall, I just thought this was very interesting because thematically speaking, that probably is going to tie into the back half of this series. Who was Sylvie referring to? For both Loki and Sylvie, what do they actually love at this point?
I like it. So like I said, there were so many things we could talk about. I want to have basically a runner-up big takeaway for this, and then I'll get into my the third final one. The runner-up takeaway basically is there was a point where towards the very end of the episode, there's buildings falling, everything's crashing in and stuff like that. We see Loki go, I got it. And there's a building about to crush him and Sylvie, and he kind of just moves his hand a little bit, and the building goes backwards in time. I don't remember time manipulation ever being a Loki power, as far as the Loki that we know from the MCU, at least. And because I think that would have come in handy in the first Avengers for Loki himself. Like, if he could have, turned back time when the Hulk was about to grab his foot and smash him all around the tower and everything like that. Like, he could have just done that, and then, he would have, walked away. The theory is that he just kind of grabbed a random Infinity Stone when he was running through the office, and it just so happened to be the Time Stone. But I have to say this: the third and final takeaway is, boom, big reveal. The TVA employees were not created to work at the TVA. They're actually just variants of normal people that don't know they're variants.
Boom! Big reveal. Are you kidding me? The same bit.
I do not want another single pop culture reference out of you for the rest of the trip.
Sylvie kind of told that to our Loki variant, that these guys are all just variants. They don't know it. And if we think about it, there have been some clues in there, like where Mobius loves jet skis, but he's never been on a jet ski before. But maybe he's a variant of the regular person who, had a jet ski, loved jet skis.
It was a big reveal. We don't know Sylvie's source on that information, and we have to remember that she is, as far as we know, a variant of a Loki. So you can't trust everything that she says 100%. But it was a big reveal, and another line involving Mobius and TVA Judge Judy was between the two of them, she made a comment that, oh, Mobius, you're a fan of broken things. So we really don't know, is within the TVA, who is in the know of, in reality, who these people really are. Were they just plopped from the timeline because the TVA decided that they wanted to take them? Were they taken for a reason? The minute person who we see Sylvie interrogating in the first scene of the episode, that's a real memory that she has that Sylvie is going into and replaying as her friend in this memory in order to get her to give away information. So those were real people with real memories. And it seems like anytime that they are possessed by Sylvie or whoever is controlling Sylvie, maybe, they have some recollection of the truth when they wake up. So just among the TVA employees, what's going to happen now that some of them are awoken to the fact that they are not created by the almighty timekeepers for a specific purpose? Definitely a mic drop moment in a very casual scene heading into the end of the episode. So it's going to be very curious to see within the TVA who's the real bad guy of this series? We know that Loki is the protagonist. He's an anti-villain. We can't call him a hero. So who are these supposed bad people within the TVA, controlling Sylvie? All of that is still yet to be determined, and we're going to find out in these next 3 episodes.
So do you have any predictions for the next 3 episodes? You can go first, because I have some crazy off the wall ones. I'm just gonna like shoot for the stars. So I'll go second. You you go first with something that's more I guess believable.
My main prediction is that one of the Lokis is going to betray the other in this next episode. Nothing too crazy there as far as predictions go. I also think that we are going to have the big villain reveal at the end of this next episode, whether that is TVA Judge Judy, whether that is Mobius turning out to be evil. It was Mobius all along. Whoever it ends up being, I have a feeling that we're going to find out a lot more information in this next episode.
My first prediction, the most believable of my predictions, and you'll see how out there I'm going to go after that, is that I think it's possible, I don't know for sure, that all of what just happened on the planet and everything like that, and the reason that we got left with this cliffhanger is because Loki is actually entranced right now by Sylvie. Like, they are inside Loki's head. We got a lot of kind of explanation of how she does it, how she is able to do it, what it looks like when she's doing it. And I realize that the way she said it was she has to kind of go back into one of their happier memories type of thing and insert herself type of thing. But she could have been lying about that. Like we said, we don't know if we can ever believe any information she's really saying. So one thing she did say was, some of the stronger minds, they're there with me, which would explain why Loki is, independent thought and everything. But they could just be still in the TVA. They could have just walked through the door and still been by the elevator or in the elevator that Sylvie was looking for to find the timekeepers, basically, and just entranced Loki right away. And all of that, we're just going to find out next episode. Boom, they're back in the TVA with no explanation as to why or how they got off the planet or anything like that. And poof, we figure out, like, she entranced Loki that whole time and really so she could do whatever she wanted. And he was just like playing the simulator game of a destruction, an apocalyptic event, basically. Now that's out there. I totally understand that. My second one is, and I'm trying to figure out the identity of Sylvie. And just the way that they kind of described how Loki said he learned all of his stuff from his mother and everything like that. And then he asks Sylvie, and Sylvie basically taught herself all of her magic and everything like that. What if Sylvie turns out to be a variant of Loki's mother? I just thought, like, how interesting would that have been if like that comes full circle? That's why they have a connection, but she's not really a Loki variant. She's Loki's adopted mother's variant. So there is some sort of link there type of thing. But I know it's out there, but like I watched the episode a bunch of times and I was kind of like, what if this was some like crazy reveal? I'm looking for a big reveal of the season. But I do agree with you. I think we're going to get an overarching villain for the series before the end of the next episode. I think I'm going Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror has definitely been teased a lot. So I don't think you were completely off the mark. I think that they're going to need to take some more steps before they fully introduce him as a villain. I would love, though, and maybe this is asking a little much, but if they could do another villain introduction song a la WandaVision, I think that would be splendid.
Oh, I would love that. And so would iTunes and everyone else, because
it can be the same tune. It can be the same exact tune, just it was blank all along. It is how they did all of their future series could go.
It was Kang all along doesn't work. It's got to be like a
it was Judge Judy all along.
That's it. Boom.
We're going to flash back to this moment. We are going to flash back episode 5 or 6. We are going to flash back to this moment, and it's going to be like, yeah, Paul called her Judge Judy. Guess what? He was also completely right.
That's it. That's
right.
it. We don't have anything else. On that note, we've got to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest videos. See you next week. Enjoy the episode. Bye, everybody.
Later.